It looks like we might be live right now, Sam. How you
We
doing,
are
brother?
live. Good, doing good. Had an interesting time yesterday. Really, we had a busy day yesterday. We had a really important business meeting. We did a bunch of content. We had a really good Twitter Spaces on the power law, and then we got to watch Biden and his press conference, which I saw you rated in the comments. You gave that a what do you say, a B plus or a B minus?
B minus. I would love to hear from the audience how you think if you watched his press release, how would you rate him? Because I
And
didn't think he failed. I did not think. I mean, he might have been jacked up on some drugs, but like we cannot start like almost every president we've ever had has been on drugs. So I thought the guy did a bloody. Well, bro. I mean,
yeah,
come
I
on.
guess that's true. I mean, whether we know it or not.
Seriously, let's go back to JFK. Okay, I mean, we don't have to go back a long way, but to me, the guy, I was expecting him to fall all over his face, to go vacant, and the guy was alive. He made a few mistakes. I think other people may have made some mistakes too. I mean, I did not think that he did the kind of job that any group behind him could then walk into the news media and go, okay, we need to get rid of this cat and put somebody else in control. And that's the same for me. That's the same for the debate. I did not think he did that poorly on the debate. I thought he did a 5 out of 10. I thought Trump did a 7 or 8 out of 10. It wasn't remarkable for Trump, but under no circumstances, in my opinion, what I've seen from Biden at the debate or last night would suggest that he is incompetent.
Do you think he did better at the debate or at the press conference, or were they both a B minus?
I thought he did better on the conference yesterday, but it was a very different space. It was 1 hour. It wasn't 2 hours. It was highly controlled. I didn't see the newscasters overly helping him, but I didn't see him be pressing either, right? Nobody pressed him at all.
Can you walk me through what a B minus means to you? Like, what would have an A plus been? What would have been a total failure? Like, what's a B minus?
Did I say a B minus? I thought I said a C minus or C. Maybe a B minus.
You said B minus at first, although would you change that?
C, B minus, whatever. I don't think it was a D or an F. Okay. I mean, out of a scale on 1 to 10, I mean, I'd give him a 6.5, 7. It wasn't like it just wasn't as bad as everybody's saying. It almost appears to me that CNN and all the news stations had already concocted their stories of what they were going to say about the Biden debate. Because one, they just came out within minutes, man. It appeared that they had assumed he was going to fall on his face. And I don't think he did that horrific of a job. Look, he's not an impressive person. He's never been an impressive person, but he didn't do hey, I'm 90 years old. And I don't even have my brains together. I can't complete a sentence. That's not the Biden I saw last night. Did you?
No, I think it just shows you the modern day how narratives run, because anytime he does anything in front of the camera, what are we looking for? We're literally looking for those 30-second clips that we can then blast out and play. And we got those, like with him calling his vice president Trump instead of Kamala. No one else cares about the rest of the interview, right?
Yeah, but I'm not looking for the gotchas, because if I did a gotcha, if all I did was spend my time with you and I are working together kind of new, and all I'm doing is the gotchas, you would live here, you would stay here maybe 60 days and go, fuck, I'm done, dude. I can't just live in an environment where somebody's just looking for all my faults. It has to be balanced. So I don't go into okay, I'm waiting for him to stumble. He's the president of the United States right now. Whether he won it legally or not, it's done. He's the president of the United States. I respect the position. I don't respect him as a human being because I don't see the products. I see no products from this family that would suggest that I need to admire or respect him. No products, 0 products from this family. Show me one product from this family that you and I should look at and go, wow, I really admire that. I want to emulate this behavior. the president of the United States should set a behavior or standard for me by which I become a champion. I'm not saying he's got to be perfect, but like at least let's set him up as one of the top 10 people in America, man. Like the president of the United States should be one of the top figures in America, right up there with Elon Musk, right up there with every great scientist and religious leader and articulate orator, whatever, teacher. Dude, come on. We cannot expect the president of the United States. Our standards have dropped so low. It's ridiculous. So, look, I'm on it. I think Biden should run. I think Trump should run, and let's figure out who's going to take the election in the next 4 years and run this country.
Do you think we'll have another debate between the two?
Look, I don't. I mean, it seems like America is changing its pathway to how we elect people. We've been having debates forever. We've been having debates since Kennedy and Nixon, and probably before that. It seems to me like it's a very good way to, especially if we could actually talk about subject matter as to, hey, what are you going to do? Like, yeah. I would love to hear a debate on, hey, what is your plan? Not who did what yesterday, because that mess is already created. We need someone that can clean the mess up and stop blaming everyone. Like, I don't need to blame. If somebody appointed me in that job tomorrow morning, there's no sense in me complaining about who got it here. The question is, who's going to clean the fucking shit up? That's the deal. We have to clean the mess up. Every time we point our fingers at somebody, like we've had that problem a couple of weeks ago that you and I had, and I'm like, I don't keep going back to that problem. I literally go, I don't want to even know about the problem. I want to know what is the solution that never, ever happens again. Like I had a guy here yesterday talking about you're seeing now why I hate owning a home, right? As long as I have someone that's working for me that can take care of all the shit. I mean, 7 o'clock in the morning, dude, I'm getting woken up by people that need to spray the lawn because I spent 30 grand on replacing sod, and now the freaking secretary didn't follow up and do a weeding. I've literally blown $30,000 worth of lawn, and I'm having to wake up in the morning to have some $8 an hour guy, dude, wake me up and, hey, let me teach you about weeds, man. And you see this little piece of grass, it's got this little booger weed. And I'm like, bro, I will never be a grass expert. I don't want to know anything about grass. I want my fucking grass to look green. And what I should have done is put turf in and just I don't have any. Then they're teaching me about the irrigation and that, the water needs to flow at this much. I'm like, bro, see, this is why owning a home, let's just pretend like my time is worth, I think my time is worth 10 grand an hour. Okay.
Sure.
Well, that's $10,000, dude. Walking in it. First off, it bothered me because I like sleeping late. So I had to wake up. Got dogs barking all over the place. These guys leave, and then I have to make 3 phone calls. Hey, did they spray or did they not spray? Talk about frustrating. This is the pleasure of owning a house, though, okay? Because if I would have rented this thing, I'd been like, hey, man, lawn looks like shit. I think you guys need to go spend 40 or 50 grand. Don't bother me. So sorry, I went off sidetrack, but I think, I'm not really going sidetrack. What I'm trying to say is that Biden or whoever's the president of the United States needs to focus on the solution, not who got us here and how bad it is. We need to just address what's wrong with this country and confront it and move on. Okay. There is not anyone that doesn't have blood on their hands at this point. There's not anyone that's going to be able to go, hey, I did the best job and everybody else fucked it up. We fucked it up. 250 million people. We voted for these people. We're being quiet. We're not standing up saying, knock this shit off. We're not demanding things from our mayors, governors, counselors, senators, and congressmen, and we should be. We've been way too quiet, and that's exactly why I'm starting to get vocal on these platforms, Sam, because I think Americans, all 250 million, all 200 plus million people need to actually become Americans. And that means getting off your ass and talking and reading the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and figuring out what country are you living in? What are our principles, our guiding principles? We're going to start doing a show on we're going to do a show on the Constitution. I've asked a bunch of politicians. Nobody wants to do this with. They all go, yeah, but they won't do it. We're going to run a show on the Constitution in the next 10 days to 2 weeks. And then we're going to do one on the Bill of Rights. And so I would like you to bring your 8-year-olds. I'd like schools to bring all their civic council teams to like take off an hour, man. Tune into your little Zoom and have the kids at Shorecrest Preparatory. Okay, we'll do this in September. Why don't you social sciences teachers plug in a nice big TV screen? You guys charge so much fucking money to everybody. I'm sure you have a big TV screen. You can watch 5,000 people discuss what is wrong with America and what needs to happen. And there's 18, 17-year-old, 16-year-old kids in your schools that should become our leading politicians of the future. And they do not need to go to college for that, dude. They need to read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, get some basic understanding of the world, and start helping get us out of this hellhole we're in. Okay, we are in a hellhole. Look at LA, look at Seattle, look at San Francisco, look at Chicago, New York. I was in New York 2 weeks ago. I have to go again Sunday. I want to vomit, dude. I have no interest in going. I'm literally going to spend $45,000 flying there, grabbing my daughter, and flying back. Any other city spending that kind of money, I'd have hung over a night or two, played in the city. My kid doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to see all this rainbow shit, dude. She does not want to see Disney turning her memories of cartoons into naked men running around in pink and green suits. It's like, this is a 14-year-old. She's like, what the fuck? I mean, she doesn't say it that way, but she's literally, man, what is wrong with these people? Sorry, I got all so excited, but it's just it's disgusting what's happening, man. Like
it's the world today.
Even on the Trump side, okay, I would like Trump just to focus on the future. I don't need to talk about slimy Joe. Everybody knows he's slimy, okay? They're going to try to. This is not even about slimy Joe, dude. Okay, we're not Biden's just a guy. This deal, again, I'm going to just ask this question, okay? I'll give everybody over a weekend. I'll give you $10,000 if you can give me 3 reasons why you would respect, admire the Biden family. Okay, what have they done for this country that you would respect, admire, or want your children to emulate? Or if you're a spouse, what you would want your spouse to emulate if you were in that position. Love to hear. 10 grand, 3 things that you respect, admire, and would like to emulate about the Biden family. Could ask the same thing about the Trump family, by the way, if you want, but I'm just talking about the current president of the United States. We can then go and do the president of the United States on November the 3rd. We'll do a survey on that one too.
Scout Tech has an interesting question. Would you trust Biden to play a high stakes game of poker?
I wouldn't trust Biden or anybody in his family into the front door of my home. This is the way I judge people, okay? I am a really simple creature. Would I willingly allow this person in my home with my children? And am I in that home? Am I free to go about what I want to do without worrying about me being there every moment? I could easily have Donald Trump come into my home. I would never think that my children would be harmed in any way. I cannot say that for the Biden family. Okay, not one of them, not a cousin. I think they're fucking crazy. It's a chemically toxic family. Okay, minimally, they are all a bunch of drug addicts. Okay, they're either the drug addict or they're the codependent of the drug addict, and they are sicker. Normally, those people are sicker than the addict themselves. And there's someone, I suspect it's Jill and the dad, who have been just like supporting this behavior for, like, this kid would have been in prison if he was my kid, dude. He would have gone to treatment center after treatment center. At some point, you just go, bro, you're going to jail. We're going to get you out of society for 4 years while I do my shit. But I am not going to have you spraying your cum all over the fucking planet and embarrassing me. The Secret Service should have locked this cat down, dude. This is what I expect from the United States of America. You don't see Putin's kids flying around creating dramas. It's embarrassing, man. It is fucking embarrassing. It's basically, I think the Biden family has taken the Kardashian business plan and deployed it into because it's just all drama. There's no good news. It's all drama and chaos. It's actually embarrassing. If people aren't embarrassed by this, like if anybody were to travel around the world and start asking, hey, what do you think of me as an American? They're not impressed, okay? The same disrespect and lack of admiration that I have for the Biden family, because I can't find anything positive, they have for America, okay? They love us, but they hate what they see happening. It's really, really, I have more friends outside of America than I do inside of America. I think there's a reason for that. But I'll tell you, they are really disappointed in us, and they love us, man.
What impact do you think Biden would have on Bitcoin if he wins? And then we got a super chat from Junie asking the inverse. Junie asked, what impact would Trump have on BTC? Junie gave us $2. Shout out, Junie.
Junie, thank you, buddy. Google took 60 cents of that, by the way. FYI, 30%. Should I quit saying that? I'm going to get banned on that. Sam's like, oh my God, he's going to get banned.
Only one way to find out.
Hey, look, 30% is way too much. Okay. It's not free. That's not a free market. McGinna, hello, sweetie. You're always looking gorgeous and smart and beautiful. I think Biden can't do anything to crypto negatively. He will not help Bitcoin, but he will not hurt Bitcoin. Biden, on the other hand, because he doesn't really care about Bitcoin. I mean, Trump cares about markets. Trump cares about capitalism. And when he sees that there's a $1 trillion market, an industry that's been created out of nowhere by a bunch of crypto bros, and now we have every major bank, every major pension, we have trillions and trillions of dollars locked up in the ETFs. And we have about, $90 billion locked into a Bitcoin ETF. Yeah. Dude, he'll see those two charts that I showed you yesterday. Vanguard ETFs on stocks, Vanguard ETFs on largest ETFs in the world, and then Bitcoin ETFs. Dude, they are staggeringly, they're hundreds of times larger than Bitcoin. He will look at this immediately and look at, oh, wow, Fidelity, BlackRock, and Vanguard, ARK. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be $10 trillion. It's a no-brainer for a guy like he and I to look at it and go, oh, yeah, that's going to be a $10 trillion ETF. That's a $10 trillion ETF, dude. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin's not going to be bigger than that. So you sit down and look at Trump and go, hey, Trump, look at Cardone's power model. We did this yesterday, right? All this power model stuff. My power model is 406,000 wealthy families. That's all there are. Less than 1/2 ultra net worth families. They deploy 25 million, $10 trillion market. And he'll get it. So it won't be really about Bitcoin. It's going to be about millions of new jobs, the future of digitization, how we're tokenizing the world, and to be a leader. We can either choose to be a leader in this innovation, or we are going to be a follower. And there is no we are the leader option for us. It's going to be we're going to be one of the leaders. We cannot control Bitcoin. The United States, and this will be the problem. The United States thinks it controls everything. It can't control this one. And that's really good for Bitcoin. I think it's probably very good for the world, and it's probably good for America if it can get out of its own way. I do believe Trump will be better for America than Biden, because I think Trump will be this far away from being able to convince to move some treasury if he's going to print, and I would bet all of my Bitcoin that he will print like a motherfucker. That he is going to print like a madman. The world wants him to print. Other sovereigns are already printing. We're going to lower the interest rate. You can see inflation coming down hard now, dude. It's coming down, right? They're missing the CPI numbers right now by significant. And technology, like we went through this yesterday, when technology really grabs this thing. I mean, I just saved myself 60 grand letting go of a secretary that wasn't perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna fix that by bringing in other people and AI, and I bet I spend less than 60 grand replacing it, and I bet I get a higher quality of service. I literally forced myself into. I'm going to get rid of that, create a vacuum, and now how can I use AI to fill in some of those holes? I don't know the answer to that yet, but sometimes I just got to cut where there's not efficiencies, and this is what the government needs to do. We need to first go in there and trim out all the problems. You clearly, when you have statistics like this, you clearly have people running divisions in the government that are either incompetent or criminal. I mean, right? Like you're either telling the truth and you have an audit, or you're and doing a good job, or if you're hiding all the numbers and you're not, the numbers aren't getting positive, maybe we need to replace the people running the divisions. You can't expect one guy to come in here and go, oh, by the way, you can't fire anyone, but we expect you to get our country back in order, or our business. Dude, the guy's got to be able to do whatever he needs to do. Me, I would go in there and fire half the people tomorrow morning. Fucking rip them out, dude. Pick a number, flip the coin, odds are even, Social Security numbers. Bye-bye, see you later, alligator. Give them a 6-month pension. It would be so much cheaper than the shit we're doing right now. And we'll find out who the leaders are, and then we'll find out who the people are inside that are left, who are the problems. Because, I mean, you're talking about how many people are employed in the United States government? It's staggering, okay? I think we employ, I ran this number.
What was the number? Didn't we say 42 million?
Yeah, 42 million, okay? And how many people live in this country?
333 million.
333 million. Let's remember, okay, at least 50 to 60 million of those people are either under the age of 18 or over the age of 80 or 70. They're not working. So there's not 300 million working people, okay? There's probably 240 million working people, and 42 million of them work for the United States government, man. 42 million out of 250. I would, you know what? I would love somebody that's from the economics department. I'm sure I could pull this up on Statista, but I would like to see over the last 30 years, what has been the percentage of employees in state and federal governments versus private. But I have to believe 42 million people divided by 250 is 23% of all the jobs are federal.
So I remember reading somewhere.
And you know what they make, right?
I do now. What'd you say? It was an average of 200,000 a year?
Close to 200 grand a year. 187, I think, if I did it from memory. Okay, so we have 42 million people. How do you guys feel? 42 million people making $180,000 a year while you're making 65 or 70. While the teachers are making 65 and 70. Dude, I wouldn't go to work if I were you guys. I would be revolting on spades. I would invoke every union right. I wouldn't show up to work. I would almost riot over this shit. Now, I make a lot more than $197,000, but I don't work for the U.S. government. I work for myself. You guys are being absolutely robbed. It's disgusting to watch.
There was an economic stat. It said 33% of Americans support the entire economy. So is 33% are in the private sector actually generating wealth? The other 33% are in the government, which means they're paid from your taxes. And then the other 33% are people on Social Security or welfare, so receiving government handouts. So it's roughly 30% of working Americans supporting the entire country. And when I read that, I was like, that is crazy. So 1 out of 3 people in all of America.
Yep. It doesn't seem efficient, right?
No, not efficient at all. It does. Well, it's not sustainable. It doesn't seem sustainable. Like, how do you continue to do that? So when you say that when Trump gets elected, he's going to print money, what does that actually look like? Does he just print money and then give it to the banks and people start getting cheap interest rates and loans? Like, how does that translate into your idea of like the economy doing good when you say he's going to print money? Like, what does that mean when you say that?
Well, I think he's going to, he first, he's got 2 issues. Does he lower interest rates and to get some of the commercial corporate real estate under control? I'm not convinced that interest rates need to be jacked with. I might let the Fed mess with that. I do think he prints money to get, look, people talk about borrowing rates, but call your bank up tomorrow and ask them to borrow $5 million or $500,000 or 50,000. The process to get to borrow money from the bank right now is really, really struggling. When they print money, and I do believe that we'll have an event before the election, so that will make it even easier. You're a little fuzzy on your camera, by the way. It might require you to reset it because nothing you're doing is fixing it. I'll go to single screen while you fix it. I'm getting pretty clever now, huh? I think you need to re-snap the focus, man. But I think if we have a event, we have some type of black swan event, a war event, a terrorism event. I mean, Trump and others are saying, hey, there's getting ready to be an event. It seems to me like you have a lot of people worried about an event. Event shows up like COVID, that gives them the reason people are out of job. Let's print some money. Whatever's going to be the stimulus to print. In addition to, I think you have to consider there are other countries that are sovereigns that have their own capital, that have their own printing machines. They also can print, and they are printing. I believe China's printing. So they're going to want to get M2, money supply, increase. The volume of M2 gets into the market. When M2 gets in the market, people spend money, right? When they put more cash into the market. Now, how they're going to do that, what the reasoning is going to be, I don't know. But being tight on money and not offering, I mean, it's really hard to raise money right now. Okay. Even for great deals, it's slow. It used to be really fast. People are all worried about, hey, what's going to happen? Really don't want to do anything before the election. I think people think if Trump gets in, the market's going to explode, absolutely take off. I agree with that. I think Bitcoin's price will do better under Trump than it will under Biden. But at the end of the day, I think Bitcoin has its own life and it really won't matter. But as a holder of Bitcoin, I would prefer Trump in office. I think it creates less friction and more gravity, be far less unclear regulatory. And the enforcement agencies that are behaving like policing authorities for a German fascist country, those go away. Now that is going to change massively. But like if Trump goes back to his old school, this is why I like a guy like Trump. Hey, we're gonna handle regulations like this. You want a new regulation? You got to kill 2 old regulations. Now I think that is just brilliant, dude. Wasn't that his policy?
Yeah, it was.
We'll add a regulatory policy. You got to kill 2 old ones, right? That doesn't take a lot of brain surgery. Okay. That's like, oh, that's cool. We have way too many regulations. Okay. Like you want to go drill an oil well. I mean, for you want to build a home. I mean, this is now like, it's like Europe. So it's, McGinnis says, I think McGinnis lives in New York or Canada. She said, is this the worst U.S. has been since the Great Depression? I actually think we were in really good moral, ethical family traditions during the Depression.
So you think it's worse now overall?
I will tell you, I think a depression would be very, very healthy for this country. A full on depression, dude. I'm talking about people standing in food lines. I'm old enough to remember stories of that my parents told me, and the thing I did not hear from my parents about the Depression, they didn't have any of the social issues we have today. None. Zero, dude. Zero of these issues. Didn't have people shooting heroin in the streets in San Francisco. There wasn't any money, man. There's no time to deal with that shit, okay? People are scraping for food.
Yeah.
People were together. We were wasting less. We were working as a community. Like if you talk, in fact, anyone that's had anyone, in fact, I would love to run a show with anyone that lived through or has real serious memories and experience. There will mostly be older people, probably older than me. Anyone that has lived through the Depression or has stories, I'd love to hold like a 1 or 2 hour conversation on what it was really like living through that. Because I think you're going to find that their lives were not as bad as we might have imagined. In fact, it might have been simpler and there might have been more human value, human like interaction, and like I have experiences with human beings. Like you and I will end up having this experience where it's going to end up in our DNA somewhere. If we spend enough time with each other, it's going to be enough of a unique experience that you're going to be like, oh, I really got some cool gems from that experience. I don't really get that from doing a business deal. So, I mean, wouldn't it be cool, man? Like get together with a whole crew of people and go, okay, hey, look, we don't have any food, so we're going to have to go build our garden. And 30 neighbors all build a garden together, right? And anyway, I just think it's a little bit of a reality check. I do not believe the Depression in the 20s was, other than financially scary, that it really harmed this country. It may have actually brought this country together. We need a common enemy. We need an enemy bigger than each other, and we need an enemy bigger than red Republicans or blue Democrats. I do not believe in this whole red-blue thing. It's stupid. It's red, white, and blue, okay? And it's America. And like I'm Bitcoin first, and I'm America first. And I think we should get on the America first thing and quit being – I don't really – like no one human being is going to solve all these problems. It's going to be a group of people, and whoever's the head of this thing needs to run it differently than we've been running this thing for the last 50 years. It has to be a radical change. Otherwise, you might as well shoot yourself in the fucking leg because this is not going to get better. We're just pretending. So I'd rather go into a massive depression, dude. I don't think that would be a problem. I do not want to go in a nuclear war, but massive depression, let's roll. I'll be fine. I'll be fine because I don't have massive debt. I'm a nice guy. I have guns. I'm willing to be collaborative. I know this is a group effort. It's not a one-person effort. So it doesn't bother me. It'd be great for my children. Okay? Let me tell you something. I'm going to repeat that because I think that's kind of a staggering comment. I think a depression would be very, 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 very good for my children. I worry that my children haven't had enough tough experiences.
So there's a book that you made me think of.
Go back to zero. It's a wake-up call. I think going back to zero wouldn't be bad.
There's a book called Bowling Alone. It was written in 2001, and I'll post the link in the chat. I've had some people bring it up to me before. Remember on some of the spaces, oh, well, let me actually post an Amazon link on YouTube. Oh, well. But the book's called Bowling Alone, and it's about the death and quote-unquote revival of American community. And it's tough because everything you're saying, Gary, I think is true. Like I think about how hard financially things were in the Depression, but they didn't have any of the social issues we have now. And we've had Twitter spaces where we ask people if they know their neighbors, and it's always the same answer, right? No, I don't know my neighbors. Like community is totally dead. Now, my fear is would a depression bring us back together or exacerbate that more? Because I think community in America was strong before we had the Great Depression, and that's why they were able to like live through it. I don't know if it would actually make things worse in America or better, because that would be my biggest fear, is that hardship would actually drive people further away and make them more tribal than come together with how things currently are. But I really don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think one, you would have a radical, out of control event with all the children who's not had proper alpha parenting. You have probably a good 12, 15% of the society that needs to be spanked, seriously spanked. That's why I said, hey, I have guns and I'm a nice guy. Those sound like okay, but dude, we need some control in this country. I mean, people who run around just think they can do whatever they want to do. So I think there would be some unrest initially, but I think when you have a really big problem, maybe the government's going to pull out the alien deal now, and that'll be our event that aligns everyone. But when you have a big problem, a hurricane, tornado, like it's good for me to understand, like, let me find bigger enemies than you, and then you become my friend, right? So I just think that we have so many issues to deal with. When somebody points their finger at me and says, hey, you're the problem, it's like, bro, I still have some energy. I have a brain. You should probably figure out how to cooperate me, co-op me instead of fighting me. I don't know why we're fighting each other. I don't get it, because I don't think anybody really dislikes me for being white or rich. They don't even know me, man. Okay. Okay, I'm rich. Awesome. But like, I actually do good things with my money, and I've worked my ass off. I didn't take anything from anybody. I have a lot of poor friends. I'm not judging anybody about how much money they have in their bank. I'm not judging America about how broke we are. We are broke morally, though. We are broke ethically. That's where it starts. And I don't know what it's going to take. But we need a leader or leaders that, and this is the thing, I like Vivek, because I see Vivek as more of a community builder.
A uniter.
Yeah.
Very well spoken.
Oh, very well. And I actually like the younger people. Okay. I think, quite frankly, I would lower the rate. I would lower the, what is the rate? 35 years old. I'd lower that to 27, 28, man. I don't know what the deal with 35 is. Who came up with that scientific fucking number? 35. I can go to war when I'm 18. I can't have a drink till I'm 21. I can go kill somebody at 18, but I can't have a drink. When can I vote, by the way? 18 or 21?
18.
Yeah. But I can't run for office till I'm 35. Okay. Now, Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin, how old were they when they were jacking around with creating the United States of America?
Benjamin Franklin was older, but everyone else, Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, but how much older, dude?
Oh, I can tell you. I think he was the oldest.
Okay. So you had maybe a couple of parents, but I think you had some 27-year-olds in there, dude. Some really young kids. These were not old. Okay. I mean, I can go back to Alexander the Great and talk about his 17th year and how many virgins he had raped and how many continents he had plundered by that time.
Yeah, a lot.
But if you look at who was it? Alexander Hamilton was a young guy, dude. Okay. I don't even think he was an American, wasn't he? Wasn't he from a Caribbean island? Ended up running the treasury.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't remember him specifically.
Dude, he was a child, dude. I'm telling you, he was a kid. Okay. Young. Does anybody know how old these people were? While you're looking up that data, wow, McGinnis is really active today.
Yeah,
McGinnis,
so Benjamin Franklin in 1776 was 70 years old.
Okay. And who else was hanging out with him?
Alexander Hamilton. So he was kind of the old buck. Alexander Hamilton was 21 years old in 1776.
Woof! Okay. Now, we should unwind everything he did because he just was not old enough to be efficient. We need a bunch of young people in here, okay? We need the Anna Lunas of the world. Congresswoman Anna, you have my support. I like her a lot. I think her husband should run too. I like her husband, man, Andy.
Yeah, Hamilton was born in the West Indies, by the way. So you're right, in Charlestown, Nevis. Yep.
And what was his job? Just for everybody, by the way, what was his job?
Job informing the government? Yeah. He became a head of the Treasury.
Thank you.
He is best known for his role as the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, who was hanging around with him? Okay. It's him and Benji, 21 and 70. Then you got, who else is sitting in that cabinet making changes? These people were very, yeah. How old was Madison? In his 50s?
I think he was younger.
See, this is why we need to go through this, dude. In fact, we're going to do the Constitution, the Bill of Rights.
Madison was 25.
Okay. What was his job, dude?
Well, he ended up becoming president.
What age did he become president?
I'll ask you. By the way, I'm doing this all on ChatGPT because Google is way too slow. So
you see this,
FYI.
Though, you see this? You see what, like, you should be in there already, dude. It's senior levels.
Madison became the fourth president at 57 years old.
See, this is a question. Why you want an old guy like me setting up the rules when I'm going to be dead? What you want is you want a 25-year-old setting up the rules, and he has to live with that for his whole life, dude. Whatever shitstorm he creates, he's got to live in it. Biden creates a shitstorm. He's going to be dead in 2 years, okay? He's not going to have to live through this stuff. So let's do that. A Constitution show, a show on the Bill of Rights, and let's do a fact check on how old these people were, because we need some young people like Anna, like Vivek. And I'm cool with Trump, okay? We need a couple of senior guys, older guys. Maybe you need a whole council of older guys, okay? It's cool, but we shouldn't be running anything. Let the young folks run the stuff. I'm talking young too, dude. 21, 25, okay? And instead of hiding them as, what do you call these people? These pages in politics? You got a bunch of 22-year-old.
Oh, yeah, like legislative assistants.
But they're being trained to be professional politicians, correct?
Yes.
See, what I say is those people should be actually in the spotlight. And because those guys are rewriting the rules. I know what they're doing, sneaky little fucks, dude. You know, they talk to a bunch of lobbyists. Seriously, I know what y'all do. Talk to a bunch of lobbyists. Hey, I'm going to go back to Gary and pitch the deal to Gary this way. Yes, I want your approval. You then come pitch me to get the deal, knowing that you have two agendas. One, make me happy, but also to make the guy that wants you to connect me happy, right? And then you do your little deal and you have a favor. Somebody owes you a favor in 5 years. This shit's got to stop, okay? Like, I know how this stuff works. Okay? It's just human nature.
Yep,
22
absolutely.
to 28-year-olds should be running the show. Congressmen, senators. We've had 200 years to do this, dude. 200 years. It's not working well. It is bad. Let's try some young peeps. Let's go back to what worked. And the young peeps are going to look at this and go, throw everything out and let's start over. Because they don't have any, they didn't create this shitstorm. See, the people that we're asking to fix it are part of creating the problem. And until you're able to recognize, oh, wow. Like, I had a really weird experience a couple of nights ago. Like, it was a weird evening for me. I had to recognize, hey, look, most of that was my fault. It was just one of those things that happened, right? I wanted to blame somebody initially, and then I'm like, I actually bought the ticket to this show. And it's hard for me to then take control of fixing it because I am part of the problem. I have never in my entire life seen a problem solved by the people that created the problem. I mean, we were with Kathy yesterday and we were talking about the Enron thing, that story I shared with about the Enron thing. It was never going to get fixed from the inside. It was created from the inside. I mean, who's going to hold their hand up and go, hey, I've committed wire fraud for the last 10 years in the billions and billions of dollars, okay? It's too difficult.
Well, it's the same example that you give with the chargebacks, correct?
Yeah. But man, are we way off track on we thought we were going to be talking about something totally different today. And we're talking about Alexander Hamilton.
I mean, they're cool people. I mean, you think about entrepreneurs and building a business, they build a country. I mean, talk about being an entrepreneur and the business you create. I don't know how many acres or square miles America was when it was first founded, but you create a landowning business that now receives income from multiple streams, multiple states, and you have to organize that, right? I mean, talk about entrepreneurs. And I think it's cool. I think the dynamic of like the youthful energy of those younger people, and then you having someone like a Benjamin Franklin, is probably what made them so successful. I think dynamics like that are really good.
Yeah, look at this comment from Bamboo. I'd not seen Alexander Hamilton's grand experiment in central banking began in 1791. I don't know how much you know about this, Bamboo Bear, but the central banking piece in 1791, that kind of interests me, if that's a real thing or just kind of a loose language.
Well, Hamilton was all for stronger centralized power, whereas other people, I forget who the opposite was. I think it was Jefferson, who argued with him all the time, was against stronger federal power. And that was a dynamic that literally started from the very beginning. That's why you actually had the Federalist Papers, which essentially like sleuth marketing about the type of government that we need. Like the Federalist Papers, before the Constitution was created, essentially saying, hey, here's how we might need like some form of central authority. So, this debate of centralization and decentralization has been happening since the beginning of our country. And it's kind of interesting that we still argue about it today. What right should states have? How much power should the federal government have? Ages of the Founding Fathers on 1776. James Monroe, 18. Aaron Burr. Oh, wait, James Monroe. Okay. Yeah, Aaron Burr, 20. Alexander Hamilton. Madison, 25. Jefferson, 33. Adams, 40. Paul Revere, 41. George Washington, 44.
That's impressive, see. I mean, Hamilton came to the United States when he was 17. Remember my message? I said, hey, you need to leave home as soon as possible. This kid's leaving India at 17, dude. We have turned into snowflakes, bro. Snowflakes. That's why I say a depression would be really good for this country. It would get rid of all our laziness, our addictions, our convenience. We are so soft, man. Like I can't imagine living in this. Like I grew up in a home without air conditioning till I was like 10. I can't imagine living here without AC. I would be so miserable, a little baby, a little girl. We've only had this, dude, for like 90, 80 years, right? All this AC stuff. So, I think it would be good for us. And I actually don't think that any president's going to be able to control whether that happens or not. I think it's simply down to when will it happen, not if. And why? Anyway, I think this is staggering. I mean, I think most people will look at this and go, wow, I did not realize people were running this country. The average age here, by the way, 18, 20, 25, I would say the average age there is around 37 years old. I don't know if anybody else can do the math. And then you throw Benjamin Franklin in there and throw his 80 years old or whatever, it's still going to be in the 40s. which is, I would say, is the right age. Somewhere between 32 and 40 years old, people should be senators, congressmen, shouldn't have to do this till you're 60. See, I think the journey up there is way too long. And it requires you to, it's almost like, okay, we're going to make it take this long because this is what makes you become a professional politician. You will have had to get on your knees so many times, so many different deals done. Hey, you do this for me and I'll do this for you, which is how business works. But this isn't business. This is a country. These are massively long-term decisions we're making, and then start doing this. Hey Sam, you let me build this bridge over here, and I'll make sure your family gets that piece of land or that job. Dude, that's not cool. Okay, like it's resulting in bad things. We're not productive. You can say whatever you want, but like just look at the output. Our food sucks. Our production of our food sucks. No one can deny that. We're not efficient. We're scared that other countries are producing equipment that could actually put us in a bind because we are no longer producing it. And we have this hubris about us in America that we need to let go of. We are not the entire planet. We're a part of the planet. And I think the sooner we recognize that, we're going to do better than trying to control everything. I just do not think you're going to be able to control a whole planet, and you're definitely not going to be able to do it with a bunch of 90-year-olds. And that's what I love. That's the other thing I like about the Trump deal. Dude, the amount of children he has that are young that seem to be, whether they want to or not, they seem to be getting actively involved in helping this country. I don't want to be a politician, but I really would like to help the country. That would give me a tremendous amount of pride and self-respect and also purpose at this stage of my life to be able to perform some function that I would never have imagined that a guy like me from a tiny little town with no education whatsoever would be putting his hand up going, hey, if I can help, please let me know. If I can, I will do my best. And I am incorruptible, dude. There's nobody that can bite my ass. I mean, it's just, I've had them all try and it ain't happening. Not in this lifetime anyway.
I love this statement. So Alexander Hamilton began work as a clerk in a general store at the age of 12. But he had keen intellect and ambitious goals. He was an excellent writer in French as well as English. One of the reasons I love that is we think we're so smart today. I don't know 2 languages. I'm not founding a country at 21. So that always gets me thinking. I mean, some of these founders knew 3, 4 languages, were excellent in so many schools of thought. And I guess I'm cool because I have AI tools, and maybe that makes up for my intelligence compared to theirs. But I always think about that. I'm like, are we smarter? Are we actually smarter? I don't know the answer to that question.
Let's see. We've got somebody that thinks I need a cognitive test. I'm not sure why you would say that, but happy to hear more.
Well, he doesn't like that we like Trump. He's a big Biden guy, so he's just being a keyboard warrior the whole time. But he's been here the whole time. He's given us his views, so I mean, Delta. I don't mind. It helps the algorithm.
Delta, appreciate you being here, buddy. I love you.
Oh, where'd you go, Gary? Gary just left. Come back. I think he exited himself out. But yeah, guys, I love old history. I love the Alexander Hamilton stuff. I don't know how many of you have actually studied that period of history, but if you actually look into some of the dynamics around how our country was founded, for me as a young entrepreneur trying to run a business, the way that they think and the way that like starting a company and founding a country, obviously they're not the exact same thing. One has a military, America was rebelling against England, but it's a very similar mindset of having to figure out, okay, I am now on my own. I have to completely build my own infrastructure and gut it, right? And start from scratch. You need to figure out, like, we didn't have a Federal Reserve and infinite money printer back when the country was founded. We actually had to figure out how to get revenue, right? We don't have to do that today. Now we're a superpower who just prints as much as we want. So I love these types of conversations. We are going to be having some constitutional lawyers come on in the next 2 weeks. I've been kind of like farming for some of those people. So if anyone who's watching has any recommendations, you can go to my Twitter, which is just Samuel Arms, and connect me with them via DM and see if like we can have them on the show, because we want to do that. We want to be able to have constitutional attorneys on here, which I just think would be awesome. So I don't know if Gary's going to be able to come back, guys. I don't know what he did. He might be gone forever, which I guess is okay. Oh, you're back. There we go.
That was so funny, dude.
What'd you do? Exit out of StreamYard or just?
No, I'm going to give Delta Dog a hilarious laugh, okay? I'm sitting there not arguing, saying, hey, I don't need a cognitive test. And I hit the cancel, not the end stream. I went backwards and it just kicked me out. So you threw me off my game, dog.
It's kind of funny. I was just talking about, back in the day, they had to actually account for the amount of money and revenue that they had like a business. Whereas now we just print as much money as they want. So they actually had to run America more like a business back then than they do now, because we didn't have an infinite money supply like we did before. Ask Gary if he has.
Yeah, I think we've always had an infinite supply of money.
What do you mean by that? We haven't always had the Federal Reserve. So what do you mean?
Well, how far back are you going?
I was going back to our founding.
Oh, okay.
Like we didn't have a Federal Reserve when we were founded. So the dynamics of how they had to manage the finances of the country completely different. They actually had to have a source of revenue. Whereas now we don't need a source of revenue. Like we just print everything.
Yeah, well, see, this is the question, though. If you're just going to print money, why do you need taxes?
Exactly. We don't.
I mean, really, why do you need taxes if you're just going to print it? But I think they're going to print under either administration. It doesn't matter if there's a dog in the administration as president. They're going to print, and that's going to be awesome for Bitcoin. I think it'll be probably the last window of massive asset appreciation, and if we don't do that, then we're going to probably go to war. It's one or the other, or maybe even both. Let's see. We got Latu Thinking says, ask Gary if he has any stocks, and if so, what stocks. I do have some stocks. They're mostly mining stock. I'm a really kind of a crazy investor. I'm an extremely concentrated investor. It gives me more access to Bitcoin. So yeah, I do own some stocks. I don't like buying stocks personally. I've never been a good stock picker. And the reason is I don't like what the company can do with stock. They can dilute it. They can buy it back. It's nothing I've really ever understood. I don't understand the whole, and quite frankly, I've left a lot of money on the table not being in the stock market. So, not the best decision, but it's just something I could never logically go, hey, how's this company worth this much money? I don't get it. It's turned out okay for me, but I think probably I didn't really understand compounding in the market and how it would work when I was younger. And I'm probably very lucky that I have a huge production capability, because most people, if they would have not done what I have done, they probably would be in worse condition than me. Because I do think I've left, not being in the stock market has been a lot of people have made a lot of money being in the market in the last 10 years.
But do you think they'll do better than being in Bitcoin? Probably not, right?
No, I'm just saying that not being in the stock market, I'm admitting I have not been. And if you look at the math, that was a wrong decision. Now, the reason I didn't is because I just couldn't understand it. And also, most of my money is invested in my own companies. So rather than me buying IBM, I'm like, hey, I'll just buy my own damn stock, and I'll, like the Node 40 thing, I'll just buy more Node 40 and I'll make sure Node 40 works. I will most certainly get a better premium by putting $12 in a Node 40 than $12 into IBM, because my basis, right? I mean, I'm buying it a very cheap, different price. Yawzer said, how long did I trade commodities? From the age of 21 to 42. Traded some after that, but not really. I wouldn't say a monster book, but 21 to 42 was a monster book, man. I was probably trading $3 or $4 billion of nat gas and electricity a year in the final years. Speculative, dude. No assets whatsoever. Total like I'm either long or I'm short, and I'm naked as a mofo. It was an awesome experience, man. And what a training ground. And interestingly enough, the reason I think the commodity piece is really important, Alexander Hamilton learned his treasury role managing sugar, which is one of the first commodities ever. And so it's very interesting. You see commodity traders. Like, I would suspect that some of the people that are active in the Treasury Department of the United States are big commodity traders. They've traded, or they've watched, done risk management for commodity trading. But it's an unbelievable learning experience, learning how commodities get priced and how they logistically move through a marketplace. I'm going to have a little dog bark here.
No, I didn't know that about the sugar, so I was just ChatGPTing some of that. Gary, did you like living in England? Tell us about your time there, like it or not. Or yeah, you can read that comment first.
I loved living in England. I went there. It's a very interesting story how I got there. Maybe we cover it one day, but the day I got there, I fell in love with it. And the day I left was the day I was ready to leave. I was there for literally 10 years. I probably didn't spend, in that 10 years, I bet I didn't spend 90 days in America. So I was not like one of these guys bouncing back to the States all the time. Had no children, brought a girl there, was married, got divorced there after a year because she hated England. I'm like, I'm not leaving, dude. I just got here and I knew I needed to be there. I'll tell you, after 6 months of being there, I realized I was very, very comfortable in England. Don't know why either. It was almost there's something about the energy in England. There are other countries in Europe that, like, I would go there. I'm like, I don't ever want to come back here. Like I just don't even want to. I don't want to do business there. One particular country, I was literally like, I don't ever want to come back here, and I don't want to do business here. It was just a feeling I had that, I've been secure enough in my own body that I've been able to say, I don't think I want to do business with that group of people. Well, why? Because it doesn't feel right. And I get to say no. And I am glad I didn't. I do not regret 1 second I didn't spend there. My instincts were good. Funny enough, though, I go back to England 800 miles away, and I'm like, I feel all comfortable here. The other thing that I found fascinating, this is just for younger people that have not traveled. If I'm painting here and I'm painting in England, the painting is completely different. I mean, drastically. In fact, the next time you're here, I'll show you some paintings I did in England, and you'll be like, whoa, dude, these are like not even close. The color palette isn't close, and the shapes are different. So figure that one out, okay? I don't know. I'm just observing things, right? I just observe things and go, that's weird, man. And it's not like I'm go into Florida and go, okay, now I am different and I'm painting Florida. That's not, it's not even a conscious thing. I just looked at the paintings later, years later, and went, London, US. Oh, US at this other location. Like, I can literally tell where the bloody homes, dude, where the paintings come from. So that's kind of weird. What else we got here, man? Are you guys enjoying these shows? Because we bounce around on topics. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin every day, all day long. We can if you want, right this second. It's over 58,000. You want to pop a screen up here real quick, or you want to take some more of these comments?
If you want to pop, do you know how to pop a screen up with the? Let me see if I can get trading view up.
I bet I can do it, dude.
I bet you can too. I'm gonna pull one up.
I bet I can. I bet I can before you can. How's that, man?
Oh, there you go. See, easy.
Shit, huh? Look at this now. Look at this. Now I can start doing all kinds of things like this, man, and then this, and then I get us back on the old. Where's the graph at? Oh, there's the graph. There we go. So here we got Bitcoin at 58 grand. Just doing its thing, dude. Like, what price is this? This is down into the 53s. 40,000 Bitcoin been sold by the Germans, dude. Okay, right here. See all this? All of this is 44,000 Bitcoin hitting from the German market, being sold haphazardly, like a bunch of jack-off artists. I've seen this before by governments. Hey, do you think I offended that lady yesterday when I corrected her?
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't a harsh correction, right?
No, I didn't even view it as a correction, to be honest. It was
just a reminder.
Healthy banter. Yeah.
Well, the comment was, "Oh no, countries when they execute sales like this, they do it really well." And I looked at it, I'm like, "You mean like the UK did it at $900? They dumped their entire fucking gold position at 800 or 900 at the low." I actually have never seen governments run auctions well. The auctions are run horribly. Okay, I love being on the other side of a government auction, but also just going in the market and puking the shit up and being public about it. I think Bitcoin's done exceptionally well. Fuck, dude, $900 million worth of Bitcoin. $900 million, dude. It's in a week or so. So I don't really, if you can't get bullish over this, I don't know where all the bearish news is. People saying it's going to go to 40 grand. From where? So the miners are back up today. They got sliced yesterday into I don't know what was happening yesterday, but NASDAQ and the rest of the market was getting trashed yesterday. So you can't look at Bitcoin in isolation. You have to look at the rest of the market and understand what's going on. So for me, beautiful, beautiful chart. Not worried about it. The ETF inflows continue to grow. I thought that graph I put up yesterday between what a large ETF with some maturity looks like, the largest 10 ETFs in the world. They're what? Did I say one of them's $300 billion?
Yes.
One of them is $300 billion. And the largest ETF for Bitcoin is 19 billion. Okay. Like that's 15 to 20x growth we have. Now that's one fund. I'm saying there's trillions of dollars in these funds, man. The Bitcoin ETFs are going to be significant. We are 6 months into them. And I think there's less than $80 billion been deployed in them. Somebody maybe correct me in the chat. I can't search all this information all at one, without bouncing between all these screens. So maybe somebody knows. Maybe Thoreau Crypto. He's always got the straight skinny. I like this guy. He's got a lot of really good. I think he's got some good input. Thoreau. I think I'm saying that right? Thoreau?
Yeah, and he comes on our Twitter spaces too.
Yeah, I've had him on a couple shows. He's quite articulate. Yeah. Thoreau says, I like the show. Well, we like you too, dude. Thank you, man. Let's see. We got any really, really rich women on here that are in their 30s or 40s, and they're looking for a poor, stupid, cognitively depressed old guy? But I'm fun. I am a lot of fun. Let's see. Wade says, thankfully, our ancestors were excellent marksmen. Yeah, that's one thing. I can't hold my own on shooting. Look at this. Look at this comment. Age of 12, Hamilton became a work as a clerk in a general store. That's what we should make all our kids do. Seriously, man. Go to school for 4 hours a day, and then go to work for the other for 4 or 5 hours a day. Working a grocery store, stacking shit, or a farm, or learning how to dig a ditch, man.
You probably learn more than you do in modern school today. That's for sure.
You know, I'll tell you something. If I was president of the United States and I had the ability to do this, I would literally say, okay, the working age is now 14. I don't know what this age about not working till you're 18 is, or 20. 14 or 15, you can legally work. In fact, probably set up a program where we're going to encourage you to go to work, where you get some stipend off your education system. The other thing is we should still have everyone go into the military for our own protection. I'm not saying go send people off, and if they don't want to go to the military, then go work for the government and the highways department and fix some of our fucking roads, man. Okay, go out there, work for 2 years. I mean, manual labor did. Like, what's wrong with that? Put a pickaxe in somebody's hand and say, hey, you're going to go do this for 2 years, and it's going to be 4 or 5 hours a day, and then we're going to give you a free education the other 4 or 5 hours. We would create some monsters, dude. People that were tough, strong, muscular, and smart. You do that 10 hours a day. They'd be awesome when they're 18, dude. They know how to work. They know how to show up. They know how to sweat. They know how to think. Multidimensional and all this, and like just knock off the bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, what do you do with those people that don't cooperate? See, that's the problem. What do you do with the non-cooperators? Do you throw them in jail? Do you get rid of them? Do you kill them? Well, but that's the problem, right? It's the small percentage that ruin it. But I would absolutely do that if I was running the show. You know, somebody asked me the other day, hey, you keep talking about politics. What division would you most like to go into? It's hilarious, my answer. I had never thought about that. I have no qualifications for this at all, but it would be education. Like, I would really enjoy going in there if somebody gave me full on, like, hey, go fix this. It would be brutal, dude, what I would do. But it would be, I think it would be impactful. And whatever we do, we have to do something massive, man. Massive. I think you got to. We need some really brave people right now. We're either going to.
What we have right now isn't working.
Dude, like when I say, hey, we need to have a depression, like you might as well go ahead and, if you're not going to fix it, then we should start planning toward the depression and be prepared for it. Because you're either going to fix the problem or you're going to go into that. You're going to go into the ditch, man. Like we know we're going off the road. Okay. Like, it's so clear to everyone. Can anyone see that we're not going off the road? Well, guess what's off the road? The ditch is in the road. So if you have to go into the ditch, break your fucking face, rip your, shred your vertebrae in a really bad accident, to then wake up and go, gosh, we might need to fix something. I'm telling you, we're going to the ditch right now. We're either going into World War III, a total global depression, and probably civil unrest, or we are going to fix this in the next 4 months to 2 years. Maybe not fix it, but start putting some serious Band-Aids on this thing. And not even Band-Aids, actually just pulling the cancer out and getting rid of it. You can't Band-Aid and glue this thing over, okay? That's what we've been doing. We need a leader and an entire cabinet that just quits lying to America and just, like, I can handle the truth, dude. Hey, Gary, we cannot afford your Social Security. Okay, take it away from me. That's cool. I don't need it. Like, I'm okay as a rich guy. Take away my Medicaid, take away my Social Security. I don't care. I don't need it. I never expected to use it anyway. Funny, like 21 years old, I never expected to use any of this government shit. I walked into this thing going, I don't need your fucking subsidies. Like, I don't want their money. Okay. I've never wanted their money. I can make my own money. And I'm cool. Like, I would run a deal. Hey, all the rich people, do you really need Social Security? Do you really need it? Okay, somebody's not going to get it. We're broke.
Yeah.
We're broke. Let's be honest. We are broke. And the truth is, we're broke at a spiritual level and an ethical level. Like that's what needs to get fixed, man. You fix the moral and the ethical shit, and all this other stuff actually sorts its way through. And that's why when I hear Kamala Harris, I'm like, oh my God, dude. Okay. Now she needs to run for president or vice president, because that lady as a judge is terrifying to me. Okay. That lady as a judge is absolutely terrifying to me. I don't even know if she has an IQ, dude. You do not put a judge in. I'll bet her IQ is below 100. Want to bet? Kamala, I'll give you $100,000 donation if you do an IQ test and it's above 100. Seriously. In fact, I'll give you another $1,000 over the 100 for every point you score over 100. Okay, so if you got 130, 150, 160 IQ, I'll give you $160,000. If you have 100 IQ, I'll give you 100 G's.
Sounds like a pretty good deal.
Anyone that knows Kamala, here's a $160,000 donation. Okay, from Gary Cardone. You got to have an IQ that matches that dollar rate. Please show it to me. Bring it, sister. I think she's evil, okay, to boot. So stupid, no IQ, and evil. And I know that sounds really harsh. You don't hear me say, like, really, I don't clock people badly, but like, I'm willing to take my name and say, this is a bad person. She has no business being in leadership whatsoever. The thing that makes me happy about her is it's very clear to everyone that she's an idiot. Okay. She can't even, like, her sentences make no sense. So when I'm saying she's an idiot, lady, I'm sorry for you. Okay. But like, I'd rather clip you from the tree of life and let the rest of us have a decent society, because I think you're creating more problems than you were. And by the way, there are times when people just need to be clipped and removed from the system. Okay. They're a problem. I mean, if I'm a problem to an organization, clip me, get me out, get rid of me, or put me someplace where I'm more useful. Because I've seen people play a role in an organization, but their skills were, they shouldn't really have been that role, right? They could do, you don't have to get rid of them completely. Now, I don't know what she's capable of doing. Looks to me like she knows how to party, hang out with old guys, and get these unbelievably fabulous political roles, running California, being a judge, being VP. And I still don't, what did she study?
I don't know, but she was a terrible attorney, put a lot of people away.
She must have studied law, right?
I guess so.
That may say much of what we need to understand about the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got? Gary's buying IQs. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. I would buy some IQ. Oh, I would. Hey, Elon, I'm up for Neuralink, dude. I'm surprised more people wouldn't Neuralink. I would do that in a freaking second, dude. Junie says, why is no one questioning about the blowjob system that got someone like Kamala this far? Does that mean blowjob or blackjack or?
I think it's the first one. Because that's the idea is that she was with this guy, Willie Brown, I think, who was like
Willie Brown,
wealthy benefactor.
And was let me guess, Willie's a politician or a gambler?
All I know is he was really rich. I can tell you right now, though.
Nobody has a name like Willie Brown unless you're a gambler or a mobster or a politician.
Yeah, he was the 41st mayor of San Francisco from 96 to 2004.
Amazing.
And then he was in the California legislature.
Yeah. Who thinks we need more professional politicians running this country? Raise your hand. Please tell me who. Okay, so if you answered no, we don't, look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, why? If you don't want any more professional politicians, you're going to have to either talk yourself into signing up, or you're going to have to talk one of your buddies into signing up. We need some normal people, 16, 18, 22, 24, 28, 32. Go to the mayor's office, go to the city council, start getting involved. Sam can walk you through. I met Sam a year ago. He's already introduced me to 3 people. I cannot believe how easy it is to get involved in politics. It is the easiest thing you've ever seen in your life. He literally said, hey, invite some of your buddies. I'm like, I hate asking my buddies for money and shit. Like they said, it's $50, Gary. It's $50. I'm like, my buddies can come hang out for $50. This 22-year-old young girl that just got out of college can come hang out with the mayor. And by the way, the 3 rich guys that put the mayor in office. And they're going to get a date for the next one, which will be in 2 or 3 weeks for another little party at the private country club that you don't belong to, that you get to now go to. Like you guys, really, we should really revolt against the entire system. Everyone should have been told about this opportunity, about being in politics. Dude. I was not told this was an opportunity for me, dude. Never. I was never told. This is probably the highest paying, most powerful job in the world that requires 0 education. You just got to go stroke some egos, dude. Stroke some egos, learn how to communicate, maybe raise a little bit of money, and show up. Like if Sam came to me right now, he said, hey, do you like me? Do you want me to keep doing this? You know, what should I be doing? I'd be like, first off, I think, quite frankly, I would push into politics very, very hard if I were him. If I was his age, I'd be like, I'm going right now. Let's roll. Because there's this window. See, if I was his age, there's this window, dude. I think the window, I don't think it disappears, but by I say window, I mean a window that almost everybody can jump through, because it just happened to be open really, really wide because of the problem we're having right now, right? So it just opens really wide and everybody can jump through it. After a bunch of people jump through the window, the opportunity starts to wind down. People start, a little too many people here. This is why I get so engaged in a space, because most of the spaces I look at, I go, I think this window is going to shut. Or there's going to be so many smart people that come in behind me, or people with monster amounts of money, that my significance at that time will be less important then than it can be right now. Right? You follow what I'm saying? That the opportunity, I just think the political, and I'm not trying to get you to go do that. I'm just being very honest. If I was 35, 33, 27 years old, I would most certainly look at this. Even if you don't want it as a career, it's a great way to get involved socially with your community. And it was actually funner than I thought. I thought it was going to be really weird. I've learned a lot, dude. Like, you notice I go there, I'm really quiet because I'm just looking around going, damn, look, this is how all this shit really works. It's ground level. What do you call it? It's real ground level kind of.
Like foundational, basic.
Well, by ground level, I mean, it's real foot soldier type of stuff, right? Like Rob knows how things work. Like I went to a Democratic party the other night, right? Well, I am not a Democrat. I'm also not a Republican. I look like a Republican, but I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. But I do not like the Democrats, okay? I mean, I just think there's poison somewhere in that whole group. I'm sorry. I don't even know how you can even support this group at this point. It's just so ugly, toxic, smelly. Sorry, but if it was my team too, this is why I don't have teams. Okay, because if you're toxic and I'm on your team, I'm gonna say, hey, I can't be on this team, dude. This is sickening. I'm not saying both parties are fucked up, okay, but I went to this Democratic thing, and it became clear to me when I saw who was running that it's not even really about Democrats and Republicans, right? It's about people who are choosing to put that label on. And then there's this whole game of moving chessboard pieces around Um, I could have been. If I would have started in politics when I was 27, where would I be right now, Sam?
You'd be right next to the president, if not the president himself. I mean, you would
Yeah.
get to choose.
I would be a major player because, like, my ability to, like, my gift would have been perfect for that. Perfect. The ability to communicate with people at almost every level and not and have really, pretty productive conversations from that. But I mean, it's like, I really think I've never thought about it that way. It's actually a little painful. Whoa, Secretary of State, or something like that. But if I'd have just gone up the, and I've been clean my whole life. Now, if I'd have been a politician, who knows? I might have turned into a total slut whore, like what apparently the rest of them do. Well, I mean, it is, and the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Mitch McConnell. I'm talking about who's the guy in the Utah?
Utah, Mike Lee?
No, the big heavy hitter, the big heavy hitter that was going to run for president, ex private equity.
Mitt Romney.
I think he's a complete whore, slut, bitch. I used to love him, man. I was like, whoa, dude, he is honorable. I haven't seen any honor from him. I've seen a guy that's a Republican that literally wants to do he would kill Trump if he could. Okay. I just think it's uncool. Okay. Then to see his daughter running the RNC, it's like, oh, wow, you guys, the more I learn about this, dude, the more it's just disgusting. So I think it all has to break up. That's why I say we need a depression, because you can't fix part of this. You can't leave half the cancer. See, we need someone that can just speak very simply. You can't leave half the cancer. You can't leave the drug addict with half the drugs. Okay, you can't, man. Okay, and you cannot fix a problem that has been in the making for 40 years, and you have an entire administration that have been complicit in aiding and supporting and abetting the problem. So drain the swamp. I think drain the swamp is a minor term of what really needs to happen. I'm really hoping that Trump invites about 400 people from the outside, business people, to come run every division. I don't know constitutionally what's required for a governor to, actually do the job he's supposed to be doing. And it's just a mess, dude. It's a mess. I think it's very interesting if we go back to the first part of our conversation, though. We have a bunch of old people who have been around the system for a long, long time. And then if we go back and look at reality, this country was formed with very, very young men. Very young men.
Yeah.
And it is now being destroyed by a bunch of old political cronies making hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. We did not have that in their resume when we hired them. This job pays $200 million. And I just think, the compensation is the compensation structure is misaligned. If somebody wants me to go work for the U.S. government, I will not take $1. Okay. If you want to set up a comp program for me based on metrics of running a division, and I get paid relative to a percentage of the increase in GDP or an increase of the budget I cut, dude, I think that's fair. Okay. Pay me based on metrics. Let me become a billionaire if I actually do a good job. But get me the fuck out of office, fire me publicly because I didn't hit my metrics. See, this is the problem with every country and every state. We just need to come down. These are our metrics, dude. Okay. We have unemployment here. It's going to be here. We have Social Security here. We have our reserves here. We have our bridges and all this needs to get fixed. In 4 years, this is my plan. And at year 2, you show everybody where you're at. You get somebody to audit, a proper audit, just like you would in any company. And then at the end of the 4 years, you come up for reelection. Did I hit my numbers or not? And if you didn't hit your numbers, like, okay, well, the voters get to decide. You hit your numbers or you didn't hit your numbers. And we move on. And it may just require a complete rewrite of who we are, where we are as a country, and how we plan on maneuvering through what looks to me like a reset, a political reset between geopolitical entities that looks more similar to 1776 than 2021. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the digital journey we're on is almost like a remapping of the world where, we're finding this new, what if the digital world is just a new digital nation? And that digital nation is going to be so economically important to the global world that America, when it wrote its constitution, it started becoming a country. It started changing the economics around the world, right? It started impacting the economics. I don't know why. Maybe America is too standardized and too old to change relative to a 21st century. But I think this virtual world that's being formed will be very adaptable to operating in a world that's changing. The United States has the same issue big corporation has when it's facing a lot of change. It has to transform and let go of some of the old things that got it there. And you can't do that when you have committees. And the United States right now is stuck in a committee formula. Congress will vote against Senate. Senate will vote against Congress. Nobody's going to agree with each other. And it's literally cannot make forward progress because you can't break ties. And so this two-party system, you can't have a board with 2 people in it. Okay, you can't. You cannot have a board with 2 people. When systems become really complex, you need a board to break ties. You need a CEO to provide leadership, and you need a board to make sure the CEO, the president, doesn't go off, in la la land and start doing stupid shit. And we've lost all that. We have no governance, no responsibility. People don't get fired. When was the last time you saw somebody get fired? If Anthony Scaramucci would have been working for Biden, he'd still be there.
Yeah, it would.
Right? And I don't even know how, it's confusing to me. Maybe I have to ask Anthony in Nashville when we do our little show together. Dude, how did you even become a Democrat, or how did you become a Republican? Because it looks to me like he's always been a Democrat. I don't even know how he got the job with Trump. Didn't keep it very long. I might have not kept it very long. So not a big deal. I don't see how he understands that. I do not understand why he's supporting Biden so much, though, because Biden clearly against Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Gary, folks with Sundra personality types could make for I don't know what that word is. Do you know what Tassundra is? I've never heard of it.
No, I have no idea.
I like a guy with a big vocabulary. I'll have to look it up. I do not let a word pass me that I don't go look up if I don't understand it. If anybody else knows what the word Tassundra means, why don't you let me know? That way y'all all get out your dictionary and start looking for it. Sam, you can't tell anybody. We got to get it from the audience. Let's see. We got Gary. Have you read The Network State? I don't think I have, actually. Love to know who the author is. Let's see. Here's a guy that says, Bomber D needs some tough love. Yeah, America needs tough love. I think everybody needs tough love. I'll tell you who needs less tough love than we do. Russian citizens. Put Russian citizens against American citizens in a 3-day scramble, Sam, and tell me who wins.
Russians every day.
Every day, dude. Run us over like a fucking freight train. Gary, thoughts on RFK? Professional politician. Voice is horrible. I'm sorry, but like you kind of got to have a voice. Too late to the party. Family didn't support him. I thought that was weird. And not real about Bitcoin at all. Very superficial on Bitcoin. I'm sorry. I met with their crew. They're using Bitcoin as a theater. There's no real understanding there. We have our two players. Okay. We've had a debate. We've had two players stand up through the whole debate, do a good enough job for us to have an election in November of 2024. And the runner-ups will be Donald Trump and Mr. Biden, and we get to decide who's going to win. Hopefully it's an honest, fair election. And we let the people, if even the people's vote really means anything, I'm beginning to believe maybe it doesn't really matter. It's just an electorate thing. It's just all a game. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Oh, fire 75% of the politicians. Love that idea. I don't know how many of them, how so many of them can stay in office and feel good about themselves. Like, I can't stay in a job when I'm not doing something. I feel so embarrassed. Okay, Sam, got anything else we need to do, buddy? Because it's 1:30 and I'm running out of...
No, we're good. We're past our 60-minute and 90-minute mark. So listen, guys, you'll see us again Monday. Going live Monday, as well as with our Twitter spaces. Gary, do you have any last comments for them to have a good weekend? I'm sure they will.
Well, I think one thing that I would like to remind you of is, one, like me is your most favorite person in the world. Just kidding. The Saturday morning, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'm doing a piece with a guy named Hitslap, very well-educated guy, not nearly as smart or bright as I am, but really bright guy. I met him about a couple of months ago, and we're starting to do some shows on IQ, on personality testing, big 5 personality traits. And in doing this, we did about 4 or 5 hours last week. It's really fascinating talking about some of these subjects because they all kind of interrelate to each other as far as how successful people become successful and how less successful people have their journey. We're doing this on original thought. Okay. Now the question is, if you've never heard of this theory, my question to him was, is there original thought? Is anything original? And it's a really very interesting concept. It's kind of heavy, but if you would think for the next 24 hours or so, have you ever had an original thought? And if so, what is it? We'll love to hear you come here. We're going to do this on X. We may do it on live. It's too long to do with a live, but you think it would be productive to do it with a live? Hitch won't be live, but it might be. What do you think, Sam? In fact, let me ask you guys, would you guys like a live version of this? If you were at the show last week, would you like a video stream of it? I'm not sure I want to, but I probably would try it once. Anyway, it's going to be good. It's on original thought, and it's going to include IQ, and it's going to include concepts like the 5 core characteristics, why and how IQ relates to that, and this original thought thing. So we'd love to have you guys join. It's family friendly. 8-year-olds can listen to it. It would actually be good for younger people because it brings up concepts they've never, ever thought of, and nobody's ever talked to them about it. And there's nothing a 12-year-old can't. A 12-year-old can handle the question, give me one original thought you've had. original thought. Wow, what is that? Right. So for me, it's fascinating to have some of these discussions, and it'll probably be last 2 or 3 hours, 11 a.m. Eastern at Gary Cardone, and it may be here at Gary Cardone on YouTube. So, Sam, you going to join us?
I'm hoping to. Don't have any other plans.
Can't wait to hear some of your original thoughts. No, really, I think it's a good. In fact, I'm going to give you a little test. Come up with a couple for Saturday, and I want to hear about them because it's the more you think about it, you're like, original thought.
Yeah.
You see, I know someone that if I give them a copy of something, if I were to give them a copy of a picture, they can duplicate it perfectly. I've never seen anything like it. If I ask them to give me a picture from their own vision, they can't do it. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, how people can duplicate an image. Yeah. Not in person, but
no, but like these are little games you can play with people. Is if you see someone that can copy something, then ask them, hey, can you draw me something that is unique from your mind? And I have not seen any of these people that can copy, duplicate. This woman, it was spectacular, dude. Like she could take my face and make it look exactly like me. I could not do that. But if I asked her to paint something without having the subject, she can't do it. So I think that's fascinating. Now, I would say she has less original thought than me. Now, that may not be true, okay? But knowing this particular person, I will say that is most certainly true, was that there are people that can duplicate things over and over and over, and there are probably operators, COOs, managers, and then there's visionaries and people that create things. They may not be so good at replicating and duplicating a process over and over, but they're really good at creating new. And see, that makes sense to me, that someone would be good at creating something new, but not replication. And then someone that is used to copying and maybe not creating from new is used to duplicating and copying and multiplying. All right, we'll end with that. One last thing. In Switzerland, apprentices typically start their training between 15 and 17, depending on when they finish compulsory education. That is absolutely something I think is so important. I'm looking for some apprentices, some people that are around that age or a little bit older, mature, 22, that know how to show up to work, that want to learn anything about the world and how to do well in it. Sam, I'm going to let you end here, buddy, because you're good at closing this stuff. I'll just keep chatting.
No, you guys are good. We appreciate you tuning in as always. We'll see you at 11 a.m. tomorrow via Twitter. If you aren't following us already, make sure to follow both Gary and I, and we will see you soon. And what's your rule, Gary? What's the rule for the day that you always say at the end?
The choice at the end. Oh, thank you. Hey, be nice to somebody. I mean, go out. In fact, today, Friday, this is a tough one. You got to do something nice for somebody you don't like. Somebody that fucked you over, that talked smack about you, that did something. You get to say a prayer for them. You get to send them an anonymous check for $10. You get to go online and say something. Hey, you know what? He's a nice guy, or like him. Do something nice for somebody you don't like, and don't brag about it. If you brag about it, it doesn't count. Okay? Everybody's got to do that. Imagine how many people are here right now? 1,300 people? Imagine if 1,300 people went out and did something nice today for somebody. In fact, why don't we play a game? By 3 p.m. Eastern, in 1 hour and 16 minutes, everyone has had to complete this mission. 1,300 people do something nice for somebody. Hey, it could be your dad. I'll give you some tips. You know that time you stole that pack of cigarettes from your dad and you didn't tell him? Call him up and tell him you stole from him and you're sorry, okay? Or if you took some money from one of your parents, Dude, call them up, send them the damn money plus interest. You'll feel so good about yourself. Call them, hey, Dad, I'm sorry. I can't believe I did that. You know that woman you cheated on? And call her up and apologize to her, dude. If you took advantage of her, call her up and say, you know what? I was immature. I'm sorry. I don't know. Do something nice for somebody. I probably will never run out of opportunities to amend some of my mistakes and or be a better person. I don't think I'm going to run out of opportunities to be a better person anytime today. So if you guys do this with me, it'll make me a better person. It'll make you a better person. And remind your kids they can play this game too.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Sam.
Yeah,
make sure we do this every time, because I would like me to be known for ending with this. This is a great way to end, and a reminder to everyone. Someone should remind me of this every day. Go be nice to somebody.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Gary, it's on you.
Be strong. Be strong, baby. See you later.